Hey, what's up everyone? In this video, we're going to be looking at adding Bootstrap icons before or after elements on our MyListing website. So there's times when you just need another icon that's not available to us as MyListing website owners. And this video is going to help you find and insert those icons wherever you want. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. This is a guide that I just dropped a little bit ago. We're gonna work from this guide here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and scroll down. And the very first thing we want to look at is the Bootstrap icon library. As I say here, it is a free, high quality, open source icon library. And then there's a link right there. I've already got it pulled up. So this is the Bootstrap icons website, and they have a nice search feature here. And then, tons of icons for you to pick from, modern, clean, good stuff. All right. So continuing on with our guide, the very first example we're going to look at, and I'm also going to show you a real world example of how I did this on the upcoming Canvas starter site, which is what really drove me to create this. But first thing we're going to look at is adding an icon before an element. So in this example, we add an external link icon. That's actually not true. I need to update that text, but I since changed it to a calendar icon. So I'll just go ahead and update that guide once we're done with this video. But in this example, we are going to add a calendar icon before an element, as you see here in my little screenshot here. So a little calendar icon before the make reservation text on a button. Okay. The CSS ID or CSS class is what defines the element. So what I mean by that is you'll see here in the code on line 1, which I tell you here in step 1, adjust line 1, replacing your CSS element with either a CSS ID or a CSS class. CSS IDs are identified by the #, and classes are identified by this period, like you see there, okay? So as we see here on line 1, you just replace this right here, this portion with your CSS ID or your CSS class, depending on what element you're trying to put the icon in front of or behind, okay? But I'll show you this live here in a second. And then step 2, if you want to adjust the icon's color, adjust the fill equals white value on line 6. So this is line 6 right here, and you'll see this this fill of white right here. So you can just change that to the color that you want. And then optionally adjust any other icon settings like size, margins, etc. One of the other really key lines is this number 10, display inline block. That's what allows the icon and the text to stay in alignment, on the same line. So very important piece there. And then the next example I give you is add an icon after an element. So it's the exact same code. The only difference is you're using after instead of before. That's the only difference. Okay, and then you see the screenshot, the difference. Just making that one word change, declaration change in the CSS, flips the icon around, and it looks like that. And then to change the icons, this is a bit hard to explain, as I say here, and that's another big reason to do this video. But I give you some steps. Go to the Bootstrap icons website. So here, and then locate the desired icon. So let's say we want this same calendar icon. I'm just going to do a search for calendar. And this was the icon right here that I used. So we just click on that. And we're going to copy this HTML. So there's like a little copy to clipboard icon. So you're just going to copy that. And I'm going to pull that up here in my text editor, which I use Visual Studio Code. It's another free tool. And I drop this in, and the two key parts here are the path. So there's 2 paths, one there, and there's one there, okay? And in my instructions, my written instructions, I say, copy the contents of the first path, which is everything between the quotation marks. So D equals, and then the quotation marks. So let's look at that again. So everything between the quotation marks would be this right there, okay? So you're going to copy that out, and you're going to just go into the code here. I'm going to show you live, and you would just replace that here in this code, all right? It's a bit complex to write out and talk about, so it's easier. It's going to be much easier to show. Okay, so let's jump in and see how this is built too. here is a look. This is not finished. I've actually started, though, on this Canvas starter site, applying CSS and designing the single listing. So they are starting to take shape. Loving how they're looking. For this particular video, we are looking at this Make Reservation button, and specifically this icon that I've put behind here, and how that was done. All right. So over in WP Codebox, we are in light mode by default. So we just find the single listings code snippet, which is right here. Scroll down, and we have the restaurant listing type and then the reservation block. And then down here, there's a section where the icon goes in. All right. So we have the calendar icon. So let's just hypothetically say that this new icon that we wanted was I'm going to copy this out just so this is my documentation right there. So we're good to go. Let's just copy an icon that really stands out. Let's do this number 1, okay? And we're going to just, again, copy that code. We're going to drop it into our text editors just so we can get to it. Oh, there's only one path in this. That's interesting. I wonder if I think that's because it's a solid. See how it's solid there? So let's grab this one here that's got 2 paths. So it'd be even easier if you do a solid icon. But let's just do one just for apples to apples comparison. It's got 2 paths in it. Okay, so again, we're going to just copy that first path, everything between the quotation marks. All right, so copy to my clipboard. I'm going back into my code. And I just want to replace the first path in this code. So here we see we just got to find that same path. Here it is, that D equals, and we're just going to paste that right in there. It's not the same. They don't use double quotes in the code, but you get the idea. You just replace here in the code all the way up to right there. Okay, so we drop that in. Okay, and then we go grab our second path. It took me a bit to figure this out, but once I did, now it's just like there's nothing to it. With my highlighted cursor, it's a bit hard for me to see what I'm selecting here, but there we go. Control C to copy it to my clipboard. And then I find that second path in here. D equals, where's it at? Where's it at? Right here? No, that was the first one. Where is that second path? Let me check my settings here and make sure I'm wrapping my line. Yeah, I'm wrapping the lines. I'm going to turn off wrapping the lines for a second just so I can see this. So I can see this easier. So we've got our first path right there. My cursor's on it right now. So let me go find that second path. There it is. Okay, I'm going to put my cursor on it, and then I'm going to go back to my WP Codebox settings. I'm going to wrap that code again, or wrap the long lines. See if I can find why can't I see that? There's that one. Oh, here it is. Okay. So I had it. The second one's just really long. That's what it is. Okay, there we go. Okay, that should be our 2 paths. Now let's go ahead and we just save our code. Go back to the front end. And refresh. I'll go ahead and duplicate this tab just so we can see. There we go. So there we have that new icon is in there. And then, like I said, if we want to flip the position, we go back to our code. And instead of after, we just say before. Okay. And let's save our changes. And we should see that icon now flip to in front of that text. There we go. But because the CSS and the placement's a bit different, we just need to adjust our CSS, the margins. So I go back over here and I'm just going to say, instead of margin left, I want to say now I want to do margin right. So I just change these values, flip those around, save, refresh. There we go. Okay, so let's look at another example. This was a special case where I wanted to insert this icon in this area. Let's look at another pretty popular use case for this. Let's say here in your menu, you want to use an icon different than what MyListing provides here with the shortcodes. Okay. Let's, for example, say we want to add an icon to this Explore page menu item here. Let's go over to our Bootstrap icons and let's just do a search for, we'll do a rocket ship. There we go. And let's grab this one right here. And let's grab this code. So I copied that HTML to my clipboard. And you know what, for the sake of time, let's just use the same icon that's here. So I'm going to actually just duplicate my code just for the sake of time. Copy all this code. Because this is in the heading that we're wanting to apply this CSS, I'm going to my global code snippet here in WP Codebox. And just for the sake of this video, I'm going to just drop it at the very top of this code snippet. Now, obviously, this is not where we want to apply it. We want to apply it to our menu. All right, so how do we do that? So for that, we go to our menu. I'm going to open this in a new tab, Appearance, Menus. And we want to expose the CSS class for our menus. To do that, we go to Screen Options in the top right, and we click on CSS classes here, and that exposes that. Okay, that gives us this field right here. I'm just going to put in here menu boot. Okay, I'm going to copy that class name. I'm going to save changes. So now we've given the Explorer menu item a class. Okay, go back to WP Codebox, and we want to change this. Remember, ID is identified by a pound symbol. A period is by the class. So I'm just going to put a period and then drop in that class name, menu boot. Okay, and then this is going to place the icon before the word explore. All right, so let's save our changes. Refresh. There we go. So now we see Explore has an icon in front of it. So now you can see with the Bootstrap icons, they say there's 2,000 here. I don't know if that's an exact number. There's probably more than that. You can get really creative now in where you add your icons. And don't be worried about this code. This is minimal. This is not going to slow down your site in the least. It's very little amounts of code. Now, if you have millions and millions of icons added to your site this way, then yeah, that could be a problem. But don't worry about it if you're not adding a million icons. And then the other settings here, width and height. If you're going to adjust that, you make your icon bigger, smaller, so we can look at that. So I'll just for fun, we'll make this 5 rem and 5 rem. You can use pixels too. I recommend you use rem if you want it to be responsive, but you got to make those the same. Let's refresh here. Bam! See how big that got. So let's put those back. What else? Margins, you can adjust those however you want. Everything else down here needs to stay the same. The fill, that was the other thing. So I don't know why that didn't fill with white. Let's try red. Oh, it did fill with white. My apologies. There we go. So now it's red. So just that easy. You change the color. And yeah, I hope you found this video beneficial. I've been hunting for something like this for a while. An easy way to do this without going too crazy on custom development and custom solutions and all that. But this is an easy way if you've got 10, 20 icons, 30 icons, whatever to add to your site, and you want to do outside of what MyListing gives you. This is a quick, easy way to do that. So, all right, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya.